I would go into the past, but I would actually go see Martin Luther King's speech, the "I Have a Dream" speech. I think he was simply just a great man, and I think back how it was for African Americans in that day is a little bit worse than how it is, how it's portrayed now in the news. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's better. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to get onto that, but I think it was a little bit worse, and I just want to see it from my eyes. And I just think if I went to go see that speech, just like to see it in person, I think that would be probably one of the greatest things I could experience.
That is a very interesting point because we as history goes, there's always been I've had arguments with people or discussions with people that do we learn things differently than they actually happen, right? Do we pretty it up, I guess, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
One of the things that I got brought up to someone I knew I talked to in college was the Alamo. She's like from Mexico and she went to high school in Mexico, and she says in Mexico their teach like the Alamo was completely different. She was like, you guys are taught that the Alamo was, y'all guys fought so hard, but it was only, Mexico
Certain amount of
outnumbered
people,
by y'all
right.
by so many, and we bullied y'all. He goes, no, in Mexico where you're taught completely different. You're taught like it was an evenly battle, it was a hard battle, so on and so forth. But it is crazy to be able to go to like a day like that and see it for yourself and see exactly what happened rather than learning off of a textbook that's obviously generated in whatever country you're in.
And just to see how he is in person, and just see how the people are.
Yeah.
Because it's just different. Simple as that. It's just different.
Do you think we have modern people like that today? Because you have like, going back to Muhammad Ali, Martin Luther King. You had people who were great influencers at that point, huge influencers that had thousands and thousands of following. People were literally gathered to follow them. Do we have people like that today, or we're all opinionated,
I
so
think
we really
yeah.
don't follow anybody like that?
No, yeah. There's no way. Everybody's more of opinion.
Yeah, they're like independent
for sure.
So like that's what's crazy too about history is that we have idols, like American heroes.
Yeah.
Will we ever have another one like that? That we all gather around and 100 years from now they'll be learning about.
Do you think there's just like more today? Because back then it was just like Malcolm X or Martin Luther King. There was only very few that you knew. Now there's a lot of people speaking out.
I
Like you
get that
said,
there's a lot of
opinion.
people
It's like-
speaking out, but are the people who are speaking out,
Yeah.
right? So you had Martin Luther King that went down in textbooks that you literally learn about. They created a holiday for. That's an American hero. Do we have people like that today? That 100 years from now you're going to be studying about, learning about, and there's going to be a holiday created for them, or is it like you said, like we're all so independent, we all have our own thoughts, and Google allows you to be able to get your own opinion that you necessarily don't have to follow somebody.
I don't think so. I really don't. And maybe I just don't see it. Maybe I'm not following along like I should, like news wise. But I really don't see it.
I feel like we do have influencers, but they're teaching the same things that individualism is. Like you have people who follow, like we were talking about Will Smith, listening to his motivation, like his about fear and all this type of stuff.
Yeah.
We have influencers that help people do that, but now it's not as much as far as back in those times because of the situation that was happening in those times. Now it hasn't gotten better per se, but it's a lot more. We do have a lot more freedoms now than they had back in the day.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's, yes, we do have influencers. Yes, we'll still be talking about them. Are they gonna make a National Will Smith Day? Probably not. Maybe in Philadelphia. Maybe in LA, maybe in Miami, where he's where he actually he's planted in. But as far as to have a national holiday for somebody, I feel like those days are one and done already. Like you've got your influencers from civil rights to any kind of motivation, anything like that, to now they don't really say. They tell you to be an individual. They tell you to go out there and fight for your rights and stuff like that. But to be honored like that, like Martin Luther King,
Right. So maybe it is better like that we have it today like that because there's so many influencers. You're able to find your opinion and follow the specific person that maybe meets, your criteria of
Yeah.
of that, I guess. So
Everybody can have that person to look up to,
yeah.
to follow.
But I feel like it's gone past politics, just in general. Like let's say for instance YouTube, like they're quote unquote influencers. They influence people to kind of think one way, and we all have our favorite YouTubers. It's crazy to think about that kind of stuff. Like it's changing.
Yeah,
And
so we definitely gone from like what you said, that it's these one iconic that people that are going to be in American history, to basically to a generation that's able to be iconic and to be able to influence and be better.
My father passed away in his room. And that's the back room. Again, that's my nephew's game room now.
Yeah.
Kind of bad to put him out there, but still. We have all of his toys in there because he can just go in there, make a big old mess, but the house is clean. There's nothing like that. One day, I'm actually babysitting. Like, I'm taking care of my nephew, right? And I'm there, and I'm sitting on the couch, just to give you just a little definition. I'm sitting on the couch, which is across the living room to that back door to his room. And I'm on my phone, I'm looking up stuff, blah 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 blah, doing what I do, and I hear my nephew, and I could swear I heard my grandfather's voice talking to him, and I'm like, did I just hear him? Like what? Automatically, body goes into what people feel like, ghost vibes. You get your hairs and stand up and stuff like that. I walk back there and I'm like, Xavier, who are you talking to? I'm talking to Wello. I'm like,
oh well.
I'm like, what you mean you're talking to Wello? Yeah, he came by, said hi. Mind you, he was like 2 or 3 at the time. Now again, that's another thing that I do feel like, kids and their innocence, they see better things than we do, or make up better things than we do because again, they're innocent. So again, the whole mind thing, but that's been my biggest, I guess you would say, not interaction, because it wasn't really an interaction with me, but my thing with ghosts. And that's why I feel like they do exist. I'm not going to sit there and go poke a stick at it. I'm not going to sit there and be like taunting anybody, because first of all, you already dead. I like to stay alive, so I'm not going to sit there and try to taunt you and you end up killing me like old girl did with Annabelle. Now again, is it our mind or is it the actual spirit? The only way we'll find out is, again, later on in our world.
So as always,
Stay fresh.
Stay hungry.
Stay driven.
and stay humble.